What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Assemblage 23 and his 2025 album Null, of which I am lucky enough to have a signed copy, as you can see here. As always, major thank you to Kim for everything she shared and for all of your awesome comments, but in particular for introducing me to Tom Shear's music, which is further to say, I had never heard of Assemblage 23, and now with each track and each album, I just continue to be amazed, number one, at the quality, sonic, lyrical, and vocal, but also that he doesn't have a huger footprint in the world of electronic music. And no doubt he has a dedicated following, and I'm sure there are a number of folks who were following him from the very first album. But yes, for whatever reason, he never hit my radar, and I am infinitely grateful that I can now go through his incredible catalog and hear his songwriting and the electronic underground style sonics. In any case, the second track on Null is Lunatics, which, unfortunately, among humanity, there are far too many of those, people who are insane. If you didn't know, the root of the word is actually related to the moon, because it was thought in multiple cultures, but especially in, what dovetailed into what we now call, like, Western cultural history, that the moon would cause people to act erratically or to behave in a crazy manner. And so lunatic is derived from that supposed cosmological influence. In any case, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a, obviously modern, again it's a 2025 album, but an immediate social and cultural and by extension political relevance to this term here in Tom's song. So let's give it a listen and see what it's all about. This is Assemblage 23, the track is Lunatics, and it's from his 2025 album Null. Woof. Absolute tune. I mean, some of the phrases in there are already like, I'm struggling to keep my mind on all of them, but it's such a well-written tune. And more on the chorus in a minute, but just the ones I can remember from the verses, what was it? Venture capitalist parasites, Silicon Valley sadists, gaslighting grifters, charlatans with silver tongues, all of them, I think, speak to the way in which powerful, wealthy, and influential people who have this outsized impact on a society, a culture, a civilization, a globe, a world, which truly belongs to all of us, they are corrupting democratic processes, they are overriding safeguards and checks and balances, they are disrupting communal forms of living, and in the process they are, as he says in the chorus, they become these lunatics that have taken over the asylum. They are the prisoners running the prison. They are the blind leading the blind, the wolves guarding the lambs. And as a result, it's like this ship, which is, you can interpret as society, civilization, basic human decency, and our global society overall. It's riding without a rudder. And the craziest thing about all of it is it's by design. They're doing these things deliberately and intentionally, as if the world of billions of people and our lives and livelihoods and cares and hopes and fears are all their little playground to play, this deity on high just doing what they want. And of course there's some easy targets and fair targets here, people like Musk and so on, who again make billions and billions of dollars and then try to influence people and use their platforms and skew their platforms to amplify their own views and to attack and silence anyone who dares to disagree. And in that regard, it does, I think, speak to a sample. I still don't know what the sample's from, but there's an acid techno tune I'm very fond of, which I have in my collection and which I've reacted to. You can go check this out, but it's called Digital Imprint by Geezer, the one and only Geezer. And in the main breakdown, there's a sample which sounds like it's from, some young political advisor, and he's saying, like, the only way to truly change society to your will is first to break it. Once you've broken society and you've dismantled it and ruined its systems of functioning, you can then take those broken pieces and mold it back together in your way of choosing. And he says, and all this is being done within the context of the democratic process. And in the Digital Imprint tune, it's sort of boom, and it gets silent, as if like, Geezer's staring at us like, what do you think about that? Which, again, if you frame that as like, oh, you're breaking apart a corrupt society, fine. But when you're breaking apart, again, people's lives and livelihoods and basic human decency and democratic governance and elections to benefit, again, these Silicon Valley sadists and these venture capitalist parasites, the reality is we all lose. And again, the idea of society, this isn't sustainable. It might be beneficial to these very wealthy and influential people and those who are their sort of lackeys and hangers-on in the short term, but it's not sustainable in the long term. And that's the crazy thing. They're doing this by design, come what may, and no matter what may happen in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. So yes, it seems like this is, once again, a very sharply and incisively and perceptively written tune. I love the sonics. I mean, there's a wickedness to parts of this track. It's a real edgy, kind of dissonant, uncomfortable sort of sound, which I think works perfectly. And then again, this like heavy, deep, and dark electronic vibe in the chorus. So yes, I absolutely love it. And again, Shear's vocals, they just have this, you know, very intense and direct style to them. Even as he's sort of singing in, let's say, a mellow, you know, he's not belting, he's not shouting. It's like this almost mechanical articulation of these terrifying concepts. So another masterclass from Tom. Once again, big shout out to Kim, as well as to Vaughn and others who've been following this deep dive. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.